Hey guys, so I hope you enjoyed my pilot episode of the podcast with Shannon I did a while back. I'm going to leave a link to the video somewhere on screen if you guys would like to check it out. And yeah, anyway, today I'm going to be interviewing a very young and promising individual who's had a lot of experience, albeit his age, because he's been working since very young. And again, I didn't manage to put it all into one episode, so there's going to be two parts, so stay tuned. So maybe you can share what's your name, what's your age, and what do you do?
Okay, I'm Eugene. I am actually the current owner and director of i.Poise Interior Design.
Right.
I am 32 this year.
Not 22, man. I feel like you look around the same age
I would love to.
with the hair and everything. Okay, so you are the owner of this. I think back then you were managing director. Did you get promoted recently or?
No, this actually has been, it's still my role as a managing director.
Right.
Owner as in because we run this company together, me and actually my mom, we started this full force in around 2017. That period.
Right. So it's been about a good 6 years lah.
Yes.
So it's a family run business.
Correct. Before this, it's a one-man show. So the company has been operating since 2009.
Right.
And after uni when I came in, then that's when we start to speed things up and to expand the company.
Right. Would you say your passion is in ID or your passion is more of building businesses?
Okay, I personally love design as a whole. So I don't limit myself. I love fashion, I love graphic design, I even love tattoos.
Right.
So anything design actually it intrigues me.
Do you have tattoos?
I would love to have. I know you have.
Are you gonna get any anytime soon?
Thinking of it. I want to get like my child's heartbeat somewhere.
Right.
Here.
Okay.
Yeah, so anything design, actually I love it. Even especially fashion, I've always liked to, like growing up I always like to dabble with weird and quirky stuff. Like I wouldn't mind like throwing in green with pink just to try out the outfits and just
That explains your hairstyle lah. I look like G-Dragon. Yeah, so the next question actually is apart from these no-brainer, I don't know if you use TikTok, right? I believe you use TikTok. So there will be some people who ask, is there any advice you want to share to people who are aspiring to be like yourself? And then they always just say things like, just work hard lah, just work hard. These kind of no-brainer. Obviously I know to work hard, right? But what one key advice would you have that you feel that's invaluable to making you become who you are today?
Okay. My key advice would actually to be very adaptable to change. Because I feel one of the biggest success the company have is that we were very quick to change.
Right.
So like if you wind back time to like 2015, 2016, those era, right?
Yep.
People don't really go into digital marketing, or rather it's not the biggest thing then. Everyone chung retail, right? And then you will spend a lot of money every month in like the best malls like Ion or Takashimaya. You will spend like 40k a month rental. So for me, it's more of like people started to say like, hey, there's this digital thing that's coming out, right? Like SEM, SEO. And some people are like, hey, this one's scam, that one's scam. And then like, I think it's more of like the bonus to take that leap. As an entrepreneur, if you don't dare to do anything, right, then better to stick in corporate lah.
Correct.
But I mean, of course, calculated risks. You don't just dump and throw money. But for me, it's more of like I was quick to think. It made sense to me. Hey, retail isn't doing so well. All the ID firms, everyone is clumping at one area in Singapore, and everyone is whacking price war. And to me, it's like, wow, cannot be this way, right? It would be so difficult and so tough to come in as a new player. So to me was that, hey, why not just try digital marketing? I treated it as a form of rental, but I'm renting the internet space.
Correct.
Yeah. So to me, that was a biggest shift because when COVID hit, right, a lot of our competitors died off because they were relying on the sheer walk-ins. But for us, we could still thrive on leads because they kept coming in. Right, like through digital marketing, they called in, and in fact, it was even better for us because everything's just Zoom, right? Everything we either Skype or Zoom or we do like Google. So it was, to me, I think if a company or a person who is very quick and adaptable, I feel that would be like the best trait that you can have.
Okay, apart from maybe something like what you just shared, is there any mindset that you would like to share? What kind of mindsets do you have that make you different from, I would say, other people who are maybe not at the level that you're at? Because I feel like mindset shifts are one of the most important in becoming successful lah. It's not so much do this, do that, have this habit, have that habit, but I think it's the mindset that is the mental capacity to continue pushing on in trying situations.
I feel it's a lot on I think I'm being very open-minded. Like if you are talking about mindset wise, I never generally say no to anything. Yeah. I would just process it first. Like before you just write it off as this is stupid or this is not good. I always think about it, and my thought process is always like, okay, this thing maybe at its raw form is not that great, but maybe we can work on it. Right. Maybe there is some input we can add. Maybe with some friends or some partners, you can brainstorm something out of this.
Yeah. I think because if everything you just close your doors and you just no, then it's not very productive. I mean, you never know who, like, if people ask me out for and they don't tell me the agenda, I'm not gonna be like, no, don't waste my time. I'll say just go and meet you lah. You never know what can come out of it. So totally agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe the next question is, what's the worst mistake that you have made? It can be financial, it can be in life, it can be paying her too much.
Paying her too much.
Right, okay. Perfect. After this, your pay is going to get cut. Okay. But yeah, anyway.
Worst mistake I've ever made. Okay, business-wise, I would feel it would be that I'm a bit too rash.
Right.
So, one thing that happened to me, the retail one, because I had half a mind of actually stopping when the lease was going to end, right?
Right.
But then I was very rash. I was like thinking, because the mall naturally want you to renew. So I'm thinking, never mind, I'll sign 1 more year, not too bad. Then I was supposed to discuss with like my partners, my dad also, like, hey, should we renew and all that? But they were taking some time to reply. And I was very hot-headed, I was very rash. Back then I was like about 21 years old. So I'm thinking, just whack, sign, what could happen? I signed and then I issue out the form. I submitted it. And then really after discussions, we felt like, actually, no, I think we shouldn't even go to 1 more year. So...
But could you reverse that?
Cannot. Because the organization is not a small mall, it's a big mall, it's a big developer. So they were also very particular about regulations and contracts. So I guess as a 21-year-old, that was my very first encounter and experience about how your signature is actually a very important thing, and it actually carries weight. So I think that was my biggest mistake, because that mistake, I think it costed us about like 30,000 to void the contract. So which I feel was a steal already, because I signed 1 whole year, they didn't make me pay 1 whole year worth. So
end up you just paid 30,000 to void the contract. You didn't follow through.
It was painful because it ate into my profits, right? But it's still, but it's a valuable lesson that I know now, that hey, when it comes to contract, better make sure that it's 200% sure, then you sign and then you issue out.
Okay. I think on this topic, right, while we are talking about family businesses, there are always some people who say, this person comes from a wealthy background, so of course he's successful today. It's not because of his own hard work, it's because his family helped him start a business, while his family pump in money, of course he's successful. What do you have to say to people who think that way? Okay,
honestly, right, I'm not really peeved about that, because I didn't come from with the richest family. In fact, we were at a level in time where I think my whole family was only surviving on $10 a day. So we came out of poverty. But I mean, I feel that generally people who so-called grow up with a silver spoon or whatever, right? I think it's a good thing actually, because you have a head start in life. And I think the next generation should always step on your shoulders. But if my kids, right, when they grow up, I would want them to start from where I left off, rather than, hey, you should from zero, right? You also go and learn. But I feel it's more on the character of the person that will either sustain him, bring him further, or cause the wealth to go bankrupt. So to me, it's like, hey, it's in life is what you're given, right? So if you're given $1 million to start with, it's what you do with it. And same thing, if I'm given $0, then how do I make it into $1 million or 2 million, right? So
I think it is what it is. A lot of people are like, screw these people, how can they leverage on their parents? But to me, it's like, I think it's quite stupid, right? If you have the opportunities, you have the contacts, then why don't you just leverage
you should
on
leverage,
them?
It's your network.
I don't think it's cheating by leveraging on them. If my parents work hard for me to have those contacts, then why not, right? And I think I also mentioned this in the previous podcast that even if your parents handed you a company on a silver platter, take over, you still have to put in the hard work to make sure that it runs. Right? If you don't, your whoever you hire or whoever's under you will not respect you either, and the company will go bankrupt, like you said, in no time. So it still takes a fair share of effort and a lot of effort actually. So it's not just that simple. Parents hand you company, immediately a millionaire.
I think those people that come on that kind of comments, they are just jealous and whining. I think more than just whining, just prove yourself lah.
The amount of time that they spend on hate comments on TikTok, right? If they actually spent it on upskilling themselves or maybe changing their mindsets a certain way, you can really change a lot.
That's very true. Sometimes I realize, right, if I just take 5 minutes, I just go and watch some YouTube or some TikTok thing about leadership even, right? Or even running a business.
Yeah.
Are you studying in college? Stop. Drop out. Forget about it. Go down the street, start selling chairs, and then come back to me. Once you learn how to sit down, that's when you are. Become a chair.
I actually grew a lot, like more than just reading a book, right? I mean, sometimes you just like that 1 5-minute video, you suddenly realize that, hey, actually there's this thing very good I can use.
Correct.
Rather than writing hate comments, I think better spend upgrading yourself.
Yeah. Correct. I mean, it's exactly like I saw this one video recently, TikTok also. The guy was saying if you gym for 9 hours in one day, you go back, you see the mirror, you're not gonna see any change.
9 hours quite mad though.
Well, okay, not 9 hours, maybe like 2-3 hours a day or 5 hours. Make it very dramatic, but you go back, you see the mirror, you won't see any change. But it's the gymming maybe 15-20 minutes every day for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, and then you will see the results.
That's true.
So it's not just a one-time thing, but it's really over time. You have to put in a consistent amount of effort.
Yes.
So every day we watch TikTok 5 minutes, not stupid stuff lah, but really leadership stuff. I think I will really learn a lot. Yeah. And actually I learned a lot of my stuff from TikTok. Yeah.
Yes, I learned a lot from TikTok and YouTube actually. Sometimes just because I don't really have time to read.
Yeah.
And sometimes not much patience to finish through a book, right? So I think TikTok, YouTube, all these are very good because they're very fast paced.
Correct. Yeah, it's just 15 seconds, 30-second video and then next. Yeah. Okay. Ken, so maybe what's one, you want to share what's one value that you personally hold very highly?
Actually got a few aspects like when you talk about values, if you're talking about business, I generally value not burning bridges. That's something that I really hold dear. That I will try my best to, I don't know if there's a value actually. I always feel that in business, you never know who you're meeting. And you never know who this person knows, right? So as best as possible, even if, for example, I meet a difficult client, difficult business partner or peer, right? I try not to burn, or just maybe at most just distance yourself. But you never know when you need each other again. So for me, I will try not to burn bridges. But I think, okay, we really kind of value, I think something I hold very dear is also is like loyalty. This is something that it's a thing of mine lah. Like I will rather forego profits to remain loyal. Because I feel like your name means everything.
Correct. Reputation lah.
Reputation
is important.
Yeah. So that is something that I really hold, like loyalty, integrity. Like this kind in this area, I think this is something that is a very big untouchable for me. In how I run my business also, it's the same thing when I train my staff.
And I think Singapore is so small. No matter what industry you go to, right? If your name is like that, your reputation is like that, right? It will precede you, and people will be like, that guy, last time he did that to me. Just because of money, he's that kind of person. Then word will spread, and then eventually, end of the day, you will lose out lah. So okay, I like that. Okay, so next one we'll talk about something a bit more light-hearted. What's the most that you have ever spent on in a single purchase?
Most money I've ever spent on.
The
biggest spent on my card is 12,000.
Right. So what was it?
It was a facial package.
Facial package. But that's why your face so
clean? For my wife.
Oh, for your wife?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you approve of this before, or she just...
I did actually. I approved of the facial.
But not of the price?
I didn't know the price.
You did? Okay.
But I mean...
Right. 12,000 on facial. Is this like for 99 years or like what?
It's for 5 years.
It's for 5 years. 12,000.
So apparently a very good package lah. Because for 1 year, I think it's supposed to be 5 or 6K. But in 5 years, it's 12K. So it's a lot cheaper. Okay. Safe.
Right. Is it supposed to make you like grow taller or something? Why is it so expensive, man?
It's supposed to make her face, complexion, everything a lot better, I guess.
Okay. How long has she been going for that?
I think this is her 2nd year already.
Is it helping?
Yes.
Politically right answer. Even if it's no, you have to say yes.
No, yes.
Okay.
Sparkles every time I see her after.
Right, okay. That's nice to hear. You can tell me the truth after this. I will cut this out. Okay. So what's the one thing that people always misjudge about yourself until they actually get to know you? Like for myself, people think I'm very cocky, arrogant. Then they meet me, then they, why you laugh? You also thought that of me, right? Must be. So is there something about yourself?
For me, I think most people, they'll look at me as a kid. My first impression, always, you're a kid. Like sometimes I even go to client meetings, then the client will be like, you are? Because they know, like when we introduce on the WhatsApp, right? Hi, I'm Eugene, I'm like the business director, or I'm the owner of the company, that kind of thing. So some people never see me before. Then they thought, okay, this is Eugene. Then when I meet them, that's you ah. you're the boss. Then they look at my staff, which sometimes they are 35 or some say 50 something. Then they will think that person is the boss instead.
Correct.
Then sometimes they like if we don't do a proper intro, also sometimes like we just say I'm Eugene and this is like whoever, right? Then they end up focusing their attention on that guy. Like they just keep talking to that person. Then it's only at the end of the meeting, then when it comes to pricing or whatever, right? Then the guy look at me, then they start to question like, hey, why you cannot decide? Then they will realize like, oh, so you're the boss, but you look like a kid. Then like, how old are you? That kind of thing.
Okay. So branching off, the same topic. How is it like to run a business where you're managing staff that are older than you, maybe some twice your age? I'm sure it's difficult, but what are the difficulties and how do you overcome this?
I usually start off as neutral with people, right? So when I hire them, generally my approach is, I think humility goes a long way. So I would never talk as if I know better than you.
Right.
So I believe like even a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old that I meet, right? I would believe that there's something you can learn from them.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah,
I believe you can learn everything from anyone.
Yeah.
You can be a beggar or homeless, I can still learn something from you.
But so even when this guy, let's say I hire this guy, he's 60 years old, generally, before I come across as a know-it-all, right? I don't want to come across as that, but sometimes you need to teach people in the business. But before any of that goes, I will always take a more humble approach, when they want to speak their mind, I'll always hear them out. Like, hey, so what is this about? Maybe you're not happy about this, or sometimes I just casually ask so this is the company processes, right? What's your input on this? What do you feel about this, right? And then they will start to share. And then if it's really a valid point, then we take. And then I'll tell them, say, hey, why not we implement this? And then you give credit. Like, hey, this person suggested this ABC thing. Let's do this as a company. Let's try this. So naturally, they will also feel like we are very flat hierarchical structure, and they will also feel like, okay, I can learn from him, he can learn from me, and it's very neutral.
Yeah, so it's not just very one way lah. You actually take their whatever they share into consideration.
And if I'm wrong, definitely I'll apologize also. I'll be like, I'm sorry, I'm learning as well.
I think that's very rare in I guess in leaders, especially the younger generation. They tend not to want to apologize.
They're very hot-headed.
Hot-headed, you tend to have egos lah. I think even like for myself, I used to be like that. In relationships lah, and then after that I kind of like so I just apologize to my girlfriend. Okay, I'm wrong lah. Last time I don't like to be wrong Isabel, I'm wrong. I just keep quiet. I just like never mind. I say but then I always have something to say back. And nowadays I'm just like okay lah, that was my fault lah. So I think it's growth lah, in especially I think if working in this kind of line, if you are a business owner, I think you learn so much as a business owner. Whether it succeeds or it fails, you will still learn a lot. Okay. Ken, what's one thing in life that you will never be frugal on? It can be like food, it can be your wife, because 12,000 so.
Pain. I would say spending on people I love. So like my kids, my family. I think these are people that I will. To me, I earn money is for them. For wife, for your kids, for your best friends. You know. So I feel that earn money is to enjoy, but enjoy with who, right? So with these people. So these are like my special group.
You do a lot of things, right? You run a business, you do Muay Thai, you are a model also, right? Now you're a model now.
I'm not the best, but I think I've got a relatively good level of EQ. Especially when you're doing sales. I think this is a trait that people are generally born with. If you say we are short term, it's not true. You ask me, I got 5-year plan. You just need to give me $1 billion now. I can start to. I just need